The chair will now entertain requests for 1-minute speeches. For what purpose does the gentleman from Nebraska seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to celebrate 80 years of the Midwest Theater, a place that has meant so much to Scottsbluff, Nebraska and surrounding communities. For 8 decades, this theater has been more than just a building. It has been a gathering place, a community hub, and a doorway to worlds far beyond our own. Children, parents, grandparents, and friends have come through these doors to laugh, to cry, to wonder, and to be transported into stories from every corner of the globe. The Midwest Theater has given us the gift of escape, the chance to set aside the worries of everyday life and lose ourselves in imagination, creativity, and shared experiences. And while it began as a movie house, it has grown into something even greater, a thriving performing arts center that enriches the cultural life of Western Nebraska through film, music, theater, and live performance. As we celebrate 80 remarkable years, we also celebrate the countless number of volunteers who have sustained this institution and the generations still to come who will create new memories here. Happy 80th anniversary, Midwest Theater. May your lights continue to shine brightly for many years to come.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Puerto Rico seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday, students from the University of Puerto Rico gave me this graduation cap. It says, "I want to graduate without hunger." Eating is a basic need. Puerto Rico is not eligible for SNAP. As a result, many people, including our students, have to choose between buying a textbook or buying food. We are working to change that, and today I have very important news. For the first time in this initiative's history, we have a Republican co-sponsor in the Senate. And I want to thank Senator Roger Wicker for joining Senator Gillibrand and other 17 Democrats in extending nutrition fairness for Puerto Rico. And I want to thank as well the 7 Republicans and 58 Democrats who co-sponsor my bill to extend SNAP to Puerto Rico. The fight goes on, we are making progress, and the people have hope. Thank you. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Indiana seek recognition?
Speaker, I seek unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to remember Brett Scroggum, a young Hoosier from Greenwood, Indiana, whose life was recently taken in Indianapolis. Brett was 23 years old. He was a son, a brother, a friend of many. He'd recently graduated from IU's Kelley School of Business in Indianapolis, where he was among our top students. He just started his career in Indianapolis, working in commercial real estate for a good friend of mine. As part of Brett's story hits close to me. For me, I started my own career in Indy at that age in the same field. He was heading to an Indianapolis Indians game in the light of day with his family when he was killed in a hijacking attempt right downtown. That happened in my hometown, that happened in our hometown, and it is painful for me to say that out loud. A family should be able to go to a ball game in our capital city and come home safely. Parents should be able to watch their son build a career, start a life, and become the man they raised Brett to be. Instead, his family is grieving a loss no family should have to endure. Today, I want his family to know from this well of the House that Brett is remembered, that his life mattered. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Minnesota seek recognition?
To address the House for 1 minute and extend and expand my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Minnesota Senate President Pro Tem Ann Rest for over 40 years of service in the Minnesota legislature. Senator Rest led with co-governance, often holding listening sessions at Frankie's Chicago-style pizza in New Hope, where she heard directly from community members and let their voices lead her policymaking. She made history as the first and only legislator to chair the tax committee in both the State House and the Senate, where she shaped the largest tax cut package in state history. That landmark legislation invested more than $1.5 billion in a child tax cut fund and included over $105 million to expand affordable housing in our state. I've been incredibly grateful for her steadfast leadership and unwavering commitment to bettering the lives of all Minnesotans, and I wish her the very best in her retirement. She has made an incredible mark on my life and the lives of so many young Minnesota legislators, and I am so grateful for her. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today alongside Congressman Buser to honor the life of Dr. Richard Alley, a devoted community member dedicated to education and patient care on a local and global level. Dr. Alley was not only a physician and a professor in Wilkes-Barre, where he provided decades of compassionate care for people within his local community, but also participated in international medical mission trips to provide care to people abroad. Dr. Alley also encouraged an educational philanthropy through assisting with high school scholarships in the greater Wyoming Valley and thus enhanced educational opportunities for younger generations. His actions in the academic world will continue to live on for many years to come. Dr. Alley not only helped in the spheres of education and medicine, but also served the armed services. He was a proud U.S. Navy veteran where he served as a lieutenant in the Medical Corps. Today, we honor Dr. Alley's service to his local community, to his country, and to the world. May we honor his legacy not just with words, but by striving to live with the same compassion, care, and devotion he showed every single day. Thank you. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Michigan seek recognition?
To address the House to revise my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Happy Juneteenth. Juneteenth, we honor and celebrate both liberation and perseverance. Juneteenth marks the moment when the promise of freedom finally reached the last enslaved Black Americans in Texas, more than 2 years after emancipation had been declared. As many of our residents across the country celebrate, we recognize the contributions of many of our Black communities whose labor and leadership and sacrifices helped build this country. We also remember the struggle for justice did not end on Juneteenth. Each generation has been called to continue the work of expanding opportunity, protecting civil rights, ensuring that every person is treated with human dignity. Juneteenth is a reminder that freedom must be more than a promise. It must be reflected in our schools, our workplaces, our neighborhoods, and in our democracy. Black neighbors need more than a day, Mr. Speaker. They deserve reparations. So let's celebrate Juneteenth, but let's be a reminder that, again, the future must include real results and real accountability for every family so they can thrive and a community can be valued. With that, I yield.
The gentlelady yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I seek unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I as well rise today along with my colleague, Congressman Bresnahan, to honor the contributions of Dr. Richard Alley, a great American from Bear Creek Township, Pennsylvania, who passed away this month at the age of 91. Dr. Alley was born in Berwick, Pennsylvania, the center of my district, dedicated his life to caring for friends and neighbors as a physician, and was a proud veteran of the United States Navy. During his distinguished career in medicine, Dr. Alley served as an attending physician at Mercy Hospital in Wilkes-Barre and as a medical consultant at facilities across the region. When he wasn't caring for patients, Richard Alley was teaching medical students at Drexel Medical School. Dr. Alley also generously gave his time to community organizations, including the Rotary Club, the Salvation Army, the Northeastern Pennsylvania Boy Scouts of America, and was himself an Eagle Scout. Dr. Alley's legacy of service lives on in his siblings, Allie, Sammy, Albert, and Elaine, and every student he taught and every patient he treated. Please join Congressman Bresnahan and I as we express our deepest condolences to Dr. Alley's family, friends, and community. I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House
Would- Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me continue to recognize the voluntary service of those residents of Co-op City in the Bronx who are serving as Building Association presidents. We cannot recognize all of them in any one setting, but let me add to the list of names already mentioned for the work that they do to help make Co-op City the outstanding complex that it is. Leah Graham, Building 23. Katrina Dinham, Building 12. Yvette Livingston, Building 1. Bernard Silich, Building 7. Jewel Crawford Duncan, Building 10. Deborah Henry, Building 11. Bruce Silberman, Building 24. Barbara Johnson, Building 17. Ezekiel Springer, Building 32. Helen Atkins, Building 18. Sonia Feliciano, Building 19. There are more buildings and townhouses to recognize. We'll do so in the days to come. But this is the nation's largest cooperative complex, and it is run in an exemplary fashion because the residents and the shareholders care deeply about their community. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from Colorado seek recognition?
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to mourn the loss of Sergeant Devin A. Seibel, assigned to the Air Ambulance Company, 2nd Battalion, 4th Combat Aviation Brigade at Fort Carson in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Devin was a dedicated soldier who was deployed in support of Operation Inherent Resolve, an American-led coalition working to prevent a resurgence of ISIS in Iraq and Syria. On May 31st, Devin, at only 26 years young, tragically passed away during a training-related incident on Erbil Air Base in Iraq. His sacrifice is not only a reminder of the price of peace, but also the unwavering dedication to our freedoms. He leaves behind his loving wife, his stepdaughter, parents, and brother, whom we will be praying for. Mr. Speaker, I ask that you join me in remembering Sergeant Devin Seibel and his service to our nation. Thank you, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentlelady from Oregon seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, President Trump and I ran for office on the same promise, to lower costs. And let's review the promise President Trump made to the American people. The average cost of gas on the day President Trump took office was around $3 a gallon. On the campaign trail, he said he would bring the price of gas to under $2 a gallon. Today, the national average of gas is $4 a gallon, and it's over $5 in Oregon. Diesel's even higher, around $6 a gallon. And Oregonians, from families to farmers, are paying the steep price. Trump also promised to cut Americans' energy bill in half, but electricity rates, they haven't fallen. Rates are up 10% under the Trump administration, which is more than the rate of inflation, and way more than hardworking families can afford right now. President Trump promised over and over again to make America affordable. It's obvious that this administration has not lived up to its promise. Instead, Trump has propelled our nation into an illegal war, which has disrupted global oil markets and has put his administration's foolishness on a global stage. For the sake of our wallets, our environment, and the future workforce and economy, we need to invest in a diverse portfolio of affordable, clean energy and rein in Trump's recklessness. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of my bill, Chief Chris Eddy's Law. Battalion Chief Chris Eddy tragically passed away at the age of 35 from an explosion while attempting to put out a fire in a refrigerated container unit. Chief Eddy was a fearless firefighter with 17 years of service at fire departments including Walton, Rockdale, Morgan, Putnam, and Greene County. His death is a true tragedy, and unfortunately, it was an avoidable one. That's why I've introduced Chief Chris Eddy's Law, which will create substantial changes that will help prevent this from happening again. By requiring placarding for refrigerated containers, firefighters will quickly be able to recognize if a container truck has the potential to explode before they decide how to handle the fire. Our firefighters put their lives on the line for us every day. The least we can do is ensure they have the information necessary to perform their job safely and effectively. Chief Eddy dedicated his life to saving others, and we owe it to him to ensure that this tragedy brings substantive change. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Arizona seek recognition?
Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to celebrate Juneteenth festivities happening in southern Arizona and throughout the country. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued by President Lincoln on January 1st, 1863. However, it took until June 19th, 1865, 2.5 years later, for all enslaved people to be informed of this order. As a member of the Pima County Board of Supervisors, I was proud to champion the board's first ever funding of the Tucson Juneteenth Committee and support making Juneteenth a paid administrative holiday for Pima County employees. As we mark the 161st anniversary of Juneteenth, we also recognize and celebrate the Tucson Juneteenth Committee, which has been bringing our community together in commemoration and celebration since 1970, thanks to the leadership of Larry Starks. I'm honored to join our community and the Tucson Juneteenth Committee in celebrating this important occasion. Their decades of dedication have helped preserve the history, culture, and significance of Juneteenth for generations to come. I invite all of Southern Arizona for the last of a month full of events to join us this Saturday, on Saturday, June 20th at the Keno Sports Complex for an evening of freedom, culture, education, and community as we honor this important milestone for our nation's history and recommit ourselves to the ongoing pursuit of equality and justice for all. Happy Juneteenth. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Virginia seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize the more than 2 million women across the country who have answered the call to serve our nation in uniform. As a former Navy helicopter pilot, I had the honor and privilege of serving alongside remarkable and capable women whose professionalism and competence strengthened our armed forces and helped keep our country safe. Their service and the service of countless women that came before them deserves to be recognized. That's why I'm proud to introduce legislation designating June 12th as Women Veterans Appreciation Day. This date commemorates the signing of the Women's Armed Services Integration Act of 1948, landmark legislation that granted women the right to serve as permanent members of our military. Today, women serve in every branch of our armed forces and continue to make invaluable contributions to our national security. This legislation honors their sacrifices, their achievements, and their enduring legacy of service. To all the women veterans who have worn our nation's uniform, thank you for your service, your leadership, and your commitment to our great nation. Thank you, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New Jersey seek recognition?
Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and revise my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Leonard Luciano Jr., affectionately known as Junior, Lenny, or Mr. Lou, was a devoted husband, father, grandfather, and school teacher in Newark, New Jersey. For decades, he was also known throughout Livingston and West Essex for making the most delicious pizza at Junior's Pizzeria. The 11th of 12 children, he was raised in Livingston, New Jersey, and Mr. Lou worked tirelessly to serve all those around him because he knew that through service and community, one improves the world as well as oneself. A member of the first graduating class of Livingston High School in 1957, he excelled as a standout football linebacker, leading his team in tackles year after year, a fact he happily loved to share. Nothing can make up for the sudden loss of this generous and kind-hearted man, but it is a privilege to take this moment of remembrance. We are all so much better for having known you, Mr. Luciano. Job well done. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from New Mexico seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, we must celebrate the wins because there is so much that happens here in the House that is not in service of the American people, including this week, your efforts to give a blank check to ICE and to pass an education bill that would gut funding for schools and education institutions. That is why we must celebrate the wins and why I am so proud today to introduce my bipartisan Post-Secondary Success Act to ensure that all students from all walks of life can succeed. In New Mexico, we are leading the way as the first state in the country to guarantee early childhood education, free childcare, free college, and free trade school for all, legislation I was proud to co-sponsor and lead in the legislature and here in Congress. These are generational investments that will transform lives of countless New Mexicans. And today, I am introducing my Post-Secondary Success Act that will make crucial investments to ensure that working parents, first-generation students, veterans, and students with disabilities who face real barriers, financial stress, lack of support, and systems that were not built for them can succeed. These are investments that will help to transform lives, and we are so proud to introduce this legislation.
For what? The lady is no longer recognized. For what purpose does the gentlelady from Massachusetts seek recognition?
Unanimous consent to address the House.
Without objection, the gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to celebrate Juneteenth, marking 161 years since the full enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation. The Juneteenth flag was created by Boston's own Ben Haith and insists that the story of our nation is incomplete without the ongoing work of liberation. Red, white, and blue affirm that Black Americans are Americans, an arc to symbolize the horizon of a future where America lives up to its ideals, and a starburst in the middle, representing the new era of freedom. As we commemorate this sacred day, let us honor our ancestors not just through reflection, but through action, organizing and restorative and reparative policies that bring us closer to freedom, the freedom they dreamt of and fought so hard for. Let everyone of all backgrounds and in all regions of this country commit to fighting for an America that oppresses no one. From Galveston to Boston, our futures are tied. Happy Juneteenth.
For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I'm so excited to celebrate National Fishing and Boating Week and recognize the legendary Big Rock Blue Marlin Tournament in Morehead City, a treasured tradition along our beautiful Crystal Coast. For generations, fishing and boating have brought families together, supported small businesses, strengthened our coastal economy, and connected people to a breathtaking waters that make Eastern North Carolina so special. The Big Rock Tournament represents the very best of our maritime heritage, drawing anglers from far and near to experience world-class competition and the unmatched hospitality of our coastal communities. Fishing is not just a pastime in the East, it's our way of life. As a co-chair of the Congressional Boating Caucus, I'm so proud to support our boaters, anglers, captains, crews, and coastal businesses who keep these rich traditions alive. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Minnesota seek recognition? The gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, today I rise to recognize and honor Chief Gregory Peterson for more than 51 years of extraordinary service to the Mound community and the people of Minnesota. Chief Peterson joined the Mountain Fire Department in 1975 as a volunteer firefighter and dedicated the next 5 decades of his life to protecting and serving others. Over the course of his remarkable career, he served as captain, training officer, assistant fire chief, emergency management director, and ultimately fire chief. Throughout his career, Chief Peterson answered more than 15,400 calls for fire and emergency assistance. His steady commitment helped to shape generations of firefighters and to strengthen the Mound community for decades. Chief Peterson's career reflects the very best of public service: selflessness, professionalism, and a deep dedication to his neighbors and community. On behalf of the people of Minnesota, I thank Chief Peterson for his incredible career and lasting legacy, and I wish him all the best in his well-earned retirement. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Rhode Island seek recognition? The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, House Republicans are making it harder for moms and kids to get the food they need. WIC, or the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, has provided mothers and babies with healthy food and a solid start in life. Needy families use it to purchase formula, fruits and veggies, milk, and other nutritious essentials, but House Republicans just slashed this vital benefit by 10% in their agriculture spending bill, making it 10% harder for 18,000 Rhode Islanders to make ends meet. Because of Trump's latest cruelty, moms will go to sleep every night fearing their kids will go without. Without proper nutrition, kids are denied growth, learning, and opportunity. Republicans can always find money for billionaires, but how is it they can't find money for moms and babies? Every kid deserves enough to eat. It's time to stop the cuts, it's time to end the chaos, and it's time to bring down costs. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition? The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to enter into the record a few portions of the editorial written by Stephen Kahn and his colleagues regarding the Trump administration's cuts to U.S. biomedical research. Steve Kahn and his colleagues were removed from the American Diabetes Association's annual meeting, where NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya was set to speak, while passing out copies of their editorial. Attacks on science always become attacks on scientists. This leads to policy made by fear or favor, not by evidence. I quote, "Just a year ago in these very pages, we highlighted the many threats the current U.S. administration posed to the health of our nation. Since then, there have been actions by the administration that have caused grave health consequences, and their current approach will continue to do so. The numerous measles outbreaks and associated avoidable deaths have resulted in part from hyping disproven theories of harm rather than publicizing the effectiveness of the measles vaccine. While one would think that this congressional action to preserve the NIH budget was a clear repudiation, it has not stopped President Trump from requesting a 2027 budget that now seeks a $5 billion reduction to the NIH. We call on all concerned citizens of our beloved country to contact their congressional representatives to declare
Gentleman's
their
time
alarm."
has expired.
I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition? The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize the University of Chicago for winning the 2026 NCAA Division III Men's Tennis National Championship. The top-ranked U Chicago Maroons, led by head coach Matt Brissotti, defeated Claremont Mudd Scripps 4-3 in a thrilling comeback and fourth battle at the Champions Tennis Club in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Christian Liu and Ujar Sher gave UChicago early momentum. Michael Choi rallied from a 5-2 deficit to win. Finally, senior Emil Grant-Charoff helped clinch the title for the national title for the U of Chicago Maroons. What is even more amazing is that this UChicago's third championship title in 5 years. Congratulations to these student athletes and the coaching staff for this exceptional accomplishment and historic achievement. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition? The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Eddie Hart for his induction into the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. A Californian from birth, Eddie won state and NCAA titles during his collegiate track and field career, where he became known as one of the top sprinters in the nation. Eddie's performance in the 1972 Munich Olympic Games earned him the title, the world's fastest human, and a gold medal for him and the United States of America. Today, Eddie serves disadvantaged youth in our community through his Eddie Hart All-in-One Foundation. Eddie's commitment to service, his athletic excellence, has touched countless lives for generations. Please join me in recognizing Eddie Hart, gold medalist, for his induction into the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame. Eddie Hart was once the world's fastest human. He is still one of the world's best humans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Ohio seek recognition? The gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, earlier this week, news broke out that you have a secret plan to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The following day, as new numbers were released showing core inflation rose to 4.2% on everything, the president said he loves inflation. He thinks the numbers are just great. I'm sorry, but where I come from, our retired workers know that Social Security and Medicare are hard-earned benefits we all pay into. And also, we know Medicaid is a lifeline for the most at-risk seniors to access health care or pay for long-term nursing care for those who can't afford it in their golden years. We also know that the price of everything is going up, from gas to groceries to housing and so much more. Look at energy. Oh my goodness. I don't agree with Speaker Johnson's notion to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We should strengthen them and even expand them, and I don't agree that inflation is great. I don't love it. If Americans coast to coast can't afford to put gas in the car, groceries on the table, and a roof over their head, then that's a problem. The Speaker and the President should get outside the Beltway bubble. Americans need their serious attention to bring inflation
time has
down.
expired.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
I hereby designate chair lays before the House of Communication.
The Speaker's Rooms, Washington, D.C., June 11, 2026. I hereby designate the period from Thursday, June 11, 2026, through Monday, June 22, 2026, as a district work period under Clause 13 of Rule 1. Signed sincerely, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 3rd, 2025, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, is recognized for 60 minutes as a designee of the Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise with much to say, but before going into my message, I'd like to yield some time to a colleague who has done an outstanding job representing the 33rd District in the state of Texas. After he has consumed as much time as he likes, I will then continue with my message. But at this time, I'm proud to yield to the Honorable Mark Veazey from the 33rd District of Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the gentleman from the 9th Congressional District and from Texas, a colleague and a great guy that represents the greater Houston-Fort Bend area, for yielding me some time. Mr. Speaker, the last couple of weeks have lost just a couple of amazing constituents. One in a terrible tragedy. We had a fire in Dallas. We had an apartment building that exploded. It was a gas explosion. And one of the people that lost their life in the explosion was Miss Sylvia Collins, who was just an incredible person. Anytime I would go to an event in the Oak Cliff, Dallas part of the district that I represent, Sylvia was usually at that event. She supported and attended so many of the different functions and so many of the different programs for constituents and town halls that I would put on for the district. And she's someone that is going to deeply be missed. She was someone that literally dedicated her entire life and her time in Dallas trying to do everything that she could to make sure that people were taken care of, and she was always looking out for someone else and just always had a friendly smile on her face. So much civic engagement, her time as a precinct chair for the Dallas in Dallas County, community organizer, and she just wanted to make sure that all voices were heard. And she just did an extraordinary time in doing that. And throughout her life, she became known as someone that was passionate, and anyone that asked her to join a cause or be a part of something, she was always there for them, whether it was campaigning for civil rights, whether it was helping different people that wanted to run for office, being a spokesperson for our immigrant community. Sylvia was someone that was always there for everyone else, and it was such a tragedy when she died in the explosion. There was also a young woman and her baby that were killed in the explosion as well, and we're still trying to find out exactly what happened during that explosion. But her loss of life has truly left a hole in the Dallas County community, the Dallas County Democratic community, and just everyone that came across this amazing woman that always had a smile and a hug for you. And she's going to be missed, and we just want to send prayers out to her family. The next person here that I want to recognize is Mr. Anderson Lampkin, and his wife is still with us. They would have celebrated 73 years of marriage in August. And this extraordinary couple, the reason why I have both of them pictured, even though Mr. Lampkin is the person that we lost, is because they did everything together as a family, the entire family. Whether it was Boy Scouts, whether it was all of their work at Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church on the north side of Fort Worth, NAACP, they did everything together as a family. And I think that they're just an amazing example of what we need to get back to. Mr. Lampkin was born in Gonzales, Texas, but was raised in Austin. And when he left East Austin, he moved to Dallas and then came to Fort Worth about 10 years later. And just like to volunteer and be a part of the community. 60 years as a sign language interpreter, the deaf ministry bus driver, a deacon at his church, a trustee at his church, a leader in his church. He was someone that was committed to public service as a non-elected official. And it was just amazing to go to a Boy Scout event, for instance, and see him and his wife involved, to see his kids involved, to see his grandkids involved in Boy Scouts. They did everything together as a unit. His leadership and volunteer services touched so many different clubs and agencies in Fort Worth and in Tarrant County. I mentioned Shiloh, the Longhorn Council, Boy Scouts there in Fort Worth, the Fort Worth Education Association, and many, many others. He was from a very large family, and Mr. Lampkin is someone that is going to be missed greatly. I will miss seeing that couple at different events together, and I urge you to keep Miss Lampkin, Miss Dorothy Lampkin in prayer, and the kids and the grandkids and great-grandkids in prayer. Mr. Lampkin, job well done, sir. And I want to thank the gentleman from Texas, my colleague, my delegation colleague, for allowing me a few minutes to honor these extraordinary Americans. Thank you, sir.
Greatly appreciate the way you have conducted this time, and I wish you the very best. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. And I rise, Mr. Speaker, as I always do, unbought, unbossed, unafraid, and now I must also add unelected, a liberated Democrat, truly liberated. Liberated to the extent that while I have been censured, I have not been silenced. While I have now been unelected, I will not be silent. My agenda remains the same. It is still the agenda that deals with the voices of those that are not heard in this House as they should be. The voices of the least, the last, and the lost. The least among us. Persons who don't inherit a legacy of much, but actually a legacy of poverty, not plenty. Persons who are among the lost in a society as rich as ours, where persons find themselves lost in places of despair, living in places that you and I would not consider a place habitable. The least and the lost, and of course the last. The last would be those persons who are the last to be hired and the first to be fired. The least, the last, and the lost. But I also represent other people, and I will continue to do so. I represent those persons who suffer invidious discrimination. They are among the LGBTQIA plus community. They are women. They are persons who are of the Islamic faith. They are persons who are currently suffering from anti-Semitism. They are persons who are suffering because of the color of their skin. So today I rise to speak on the topic, invidious discrimination emanating from the presidency. Invidious discrimination emanating from the presidency. And I'd like to call to the attention of the listening audience and viewing audience an article from the Huffington Post, the Huff Post. And this article is styled, "Trump used his go-to insult in interview after Nick's loss." That would not be the last game, of course, the game prior to this one. And after Nick's loss, and experts say it's a pattern. We're talking about his go-to insult. And I must commend Ms. Katie Mather for the outstanding job she has done with this article. It has the date June 9th, 2026 as its date of publication. I'd like to read some excerpts from this because I think it will give us an opportunity to understand how the Trump presidency has not only impacted what he does, but also some other aspects of society. So this is truly invidious discrimination emanating from the presidency. Let me read some excerpts. The first reads, "First take, host Stephen A. Smith slammed President Donald Trump on Tuesday morning after Trump told reporters on Monday night that Smith wouldn't be a good fit to run for president because you need a high IQ. My dear friends, if I may say brothers and sisters, because I truly believe that there's but one race, and that's the human race. So if I may just say my dear brothers and sisters, friends, you may call Stephen A. Smith many things. I probably would not agree with anything that is negative. I don't know a negative side of him. I know that he is opinionated, but that's not unusual in the United States of America to have people who are opinionated. It is especially not unusual here in the House of Representatives. So you might call him many things, but I don't believe that you can call him a person in need of a high IQ, implying that he has a low IQ. And it goes on to say this in this article. Stephen A. Smith is brilliant. And I say this without question, reservation, or hesitation. He is one of the most brilliant people that I have seen in the sports arena, but he goes beyond sports. He talks on a multiplicity of subjects all the time, and he acquits himself well on every topic that I've heard him speak on. Now, you don't have to agree with the person to understand the brilliance of the person. He has a brilliant mind, and I do believe that the president made this comment for dubious reasons. So let me continue reading from excerpts in the article. Trump's low IQ comment against Smith has racist implications. This is what the article says. Racist implications, and it referred to a racial dog whistle by linguistics and political experts, said Dr. Karen Anderson, a communication study professor at Colorado State University. This professor is making the point that when the president says these things about persons with low IQs, he is actually signaling to others. It is a racist dog whistle. The article goes on to say, what distinguishes a dog whistle from just an insult is it is designed to sound innocuous. The dog whistle is designed to sound as though, oh, it's harmless, just another thing someone is saying to be funny or cute. Well, not this dog whistle. And Anderson goes on to say, Anderson, who teaches courses in rhetoric, political communications, and gender and communications, told HuffPost, it is meant to be deniable. The virtue, the rhetorical appeal of a dog whistle is when you can deny that it functions in the way that it actually is designed to function. So this dog whistle is designed to appear to be innocuous, harmless, but its functionality is rooted in something else. He goes on to say that it is a term that white supremacists have historically used against people of color, and it's not the first time the president has publicly used it. Last month, he called House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries a thug and a low IQ person on Truth Social. This is where he speaks much of what he says to the public. But this term thug, let me focus on it for just a moment. Hakeem Jeffries, he calls a thug. That's demeaning. He does this to demean people of color, but then he adds the injury to this insult of low IQ. You can accuse Hakeem Jeffries of many things, but you cannot in any way produce the empirical evidence to show that he is a person with a low IQ. He is a brilliant man, a brilliant person who has the appeal that most people understand to be that of a person with great intellect. So when the president calls him a thug and a low IQ person on Truth Social, and he did this in April, this was a means by which he could demean and insult and use the term that those who live in the world of white supremacy embrace. This is something that they readily embrace, and they understand the dog whistle. They understand what the president really means when he says thug and low IQ. Let me go on. In April, he called Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson the new low IQ person on the court. The new low IQ person on the court. During the 2024 presidential election, Trump repeatedly described the former vice president, that would be Kamala Harris, as a low IQ individual. Note what all of these people have in common. Color, African Americans, persons who have reached great heights in terms of their professions, persons who are making a difference in a very positive way in our country. But the president would demean them by challenging their intellect, and in so doing, appeal to white supremacists who still believe that people of color have low intellect. Reading on, he applies it, meaning his low IQ comment, indiscriminately to black people in different walks of life and professions. This is what Anderson said. That's where it reveals that it's a dog whistle because it doesn't relate to anything else. Goes on to say, experts say the low IQ insult has a storied past. That is a long history in the United States of this low IQ dog whistle. This is Anderson speaking again. Goes on to say, during the colonial era, white male elites took for granted that they were cognitively superior to women and people of color, and thus divinely appointed for leadership. Well, that explains a lot of the sexism that we have seen. That explains a lot of what we have seen when persons decide that they're simply going to reduce you to something less than human by assigning you to the primate family and calling you an ape, or saying that you're related to the apes, or somehow you are an ape, reducing people of color to animals that are not as superior to life forms as some others. These animals are not persons. They exist, and we want them to exist, but we don't want people to compare human beings to these animals. And the president does this. He has compared a former president and first lady to apes. We don't like to talk about this, I found. That there are many people who would just rather see this just kind of go away, and let's let that just be something that he's done. Well, the president never apologized for it after saying someone else actually posted it, but he never apologized. And by the way, I don't ask him to apologize. I ask him to just tell the truth, that this was wrong, that it should not have been posted, and that he would not allow this to happen again. That would be more suitable for the means by which he can atone for his transgression. But he hasn't done any of that. He tends to double down. Well, this article goes on to remind us that IQ was used to justify heinous behavior like racial segregation and forced sterilization. Now, this is something another social scientist, Figueroa, has called to our attention in this article. Forced sterilization because of IQ actually happened in the United States of America. We have much to atone for. As we approach this great anniversary, we would have people believe that all is well. All is not well. And all won't be well until some of our transgressions have been properly addressed. This notion that you should sterilize a woman because you believe that she has a low IQ is more than simply a crime that is statutorily illegal. It is really a crime against humanity to engage in this kind of conduct. And this actually happened. Racial segregation. After we ended the enslavement of African Americans in this country, Africans from America, living in America, who were at the time, much of the time, not declared citizens. So let's just say Africans in America. After slavery was ended, the enslavement of people for some 240 years, the people who had a hand in building this very facility, the Capitol, the White House, roads, bridges, planted seeds, harvested crops, fed the nation. They were the economic foundational mothers and fathers of the country. These persons, after we ended the enslavement of these persons, then we embarked upon convict leasing, which was another form of racism. Slavery itself was rooted in racism. And this whole notion of convict leasing, which would allow people who violated some code to be placed in the hands of other persons, leased out from the government or some arm of the government, and many of them died as leased persons, convicts who have been leased. There's a grave near Houston, Texas, with 95 bodies in it, persons who were convicts and leased, all in a common grave. This kind of behavior was justified based upon IQ. These were less than human. They were akin to the lower forms of animals that we would call primates. So as such, you can do almost anything to them that you like, and people did. So this forced sterilization and this segregation, which was a form of invidious discrimination rooted in racism, segregation rooted in racism, many of us alive today experienced lawful racism in the form of segregation. Lawful racism in the form of segregation in this country. Many of us went to back doors, drank from colored water fountains, sat in the back of the bus, locked up in the bottom of the jail. Many of us suffered this form of invidious discrimination known as segregation, which is rooted in racism. We, the people, decided that we would no longer have this form of invidious discrimination exist lawfully, so we ended it lawfully, but we didn't end it as it relates to the practice. Invidious discrimination against people of color still exists to this day in this country. And people who would say that it doesn't exist and say that repeatedly, who are in high places, those comments are based in racism. If you are saying repeatedly that people of color are not discriminated against in this country, and you're saying it in public spaces, and again, you're saying it repeatedly, you, my friend, are a racist. You are. Nobody bothered to tell you before now. I know you didn't get the word, but I'm here to tell you that people who do this to demean other people, to say that they are less than, that is racist rhetoric, and persons who do this regularly with intentionality, you are a racist. Continuing. As I indicated, IQ was used to justify heinous behavior like racial segregation and forced sterilization. That thinking, it reads here, was amplified in the late 1900s by a popular book titled The Bell Curve, which falsely claimed that IQ differences between racial groups were biological. Phrenology, another form of race science that claims skull shapes determined intelligence, has also been completely discredited by the scientific community because of how often it was used to uphold scientific racism and gender stereotypes throughout the U.S. and Europe. Friends, people of color and women have suffered greatly in this country under the color of law, under the guise of science that was rooted in racism. We have to change this. This cannot continue in this country. And until we change this, we cannot truly say that all persons are treated equally. Although they are created equally, they are not treated equally. And we cannot say that liberty and justice for all exists when we address ourselves and the Pledge of Allegiance. It just doesn't happen. It's not the case. There is not liberty and justice for all in the United States of America. But let us continue. It reads, roughly 8 in 10 of Trump's low IQ attacks target black and brown people. This is what data shows. Roughly 8 in 10 target black and brown people. We're talking about empirical evidence now. Trump has been using his dog whistle frequently. Between January 20th of 2025 and April 25th of 2026, Trump posted low IQ or a variation of this phrase 24 times. Let me stop for just a moment and deal with the variation of the phrase. Because there are some people who don't say low IQ, they will say stupid. They will say, oh, black people are stupid. Or they'll say a particular black person is stupid. And in so doing, they will say, now, I really mean this in the sense of the way the word stupid is defined. So they use stupidity. And they use this in the sense of referring to the person's intellect. Again, another means by which persons are using dog whistles to demean people of color. And this dog whistle that the president uses has permeated what I call racist radio. Racist radio. Yes, racist radio exists. Not all radio is racist, but there is a large segment, a subset of radio that is racist. And they are on the air daily, utilizing terms such as stupidity, depicting people of color as less than human beings. And they've done it to the extent that they've normalized it within the circle that they reside in. They've normalized it. People just come to accept it. Well, I don't. I refuse to accept what racist radio does routinely. And the president, who is at the top of this chain of unscrupulous behavior, he's at the very top. The president shapes the tone and tenor for all of these things that happen beneath him. Much of what we are seeing today is being perpetrated and perpetuated because the president does it. So why can't others do it? People see it this way. So we have this racist radio that is constantly perpetrating and perpetuating racist dog whistles in the form of IQ, in the form of depicting persons as less than human who are persons of color, and in the form of using language other than low IQ, such as stupid. Stupidity has become another dog whistle for racist radio. And they know that I speak truth, but they rarely have the truth spoken such that they are exposed. So those of you who are listening to it and enjoying it, you're enjoying racism. And as long as you continue to enjoy it and support it by the products being advertised on those stations, you're supporting racism. Racism exists in the public arena because in many instances, people are buying the products that the racists purvey. The racists sell the products on their radio stations, they advertise the products, you buy them from those stations, and as a result, you are supporting racism. I refuse to do it. Racism is something that we have to combat. Sexism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, all of the various invidious phobias. So let me repeat this, it bears repeating. Roughly 8 in 10 of Trump's low IQ attacks target black or brown people, data shows. Goes on to say, Trump has been using this dog whistle frequently between January 20th, 2025 and April 25th, 2026. Trump posted low IQ or a variation of the phrase 24 times, according to a study by Truth Out, a nonprofit news organization. 8 out of 10 posts were directed at black or brown people. In the first 10 months of his second term, Trump did not refer to any white person as someone with low IQ. I'm going to repeat that. In the first 10 months of his second term, Trump did not refer to any white person as someone with low IQ. These are the kinds of things people don't want to hear. But you have to know the truth so that you can free your minds. I've read someplace that if you know the truth, it will set you free. I want to free your minds. This will free you, some of you, Some of you choose not to be free, and there's nothing that will be said to free your minds because you choose not to be free. There is no one so blind as he who chooses not to see. Not as he who cannot see, but he who chooses not to see. And there are many people who choose not to see. No white person referred to with low IQ. And the article goes on to indicate it is designed to signal a specific audience that a speaker shares the ideology or belief systems that they shares their ideology or belief system. That's what these dog whistles are designed to do, to say to other people, hey, don't worry, I got your back. I believe that just as you believe that they have low IQs, so it's okay for you to say it on racist radio now. It's all right. You can call persons stupid. You can say low IQ. You can do it with impunity because the president is doing it. Well, it's not all right, and you're not going to do it with impunity because you're going to be exposed. This goes on to indicate that Trump uses it to refer to black people and predominantly, but not exclusively, black women. Predominantly, but not exclusively, black women. I stand in defense of black women. I stand in defense of the black women that he has called persons with low IQs. I defend Maxine Waters. I defend Vice President Kamala Harris. I defend Jasmine Crockett. I defend the women that this president would demean with a racist comment. And that's what it is. It is racist. Racist commentary, constantly repeated over the airwaves. And it goes on to say, I think in his mind, this is a person speaking now of the president, I think in his mind, because it doesn't explicitly refer to race, he feels that it is easy to deny that it's a racist label. My friends, he can deny it, but there are some of us who see through it. I'm here to tell you that it is racist, and it is a racist label. This article concludes with this language. By repeating the phrase openly, as is done on racist radio quite regularly, remember, we're talking today about invidious discrimination emanating from the presidency. And I chose this topic, emanating from the presidency, because I wanted to talk about how it is permeating society. It starts there at the top with this president, and it permeates society. Now, the argument can be made that it was here and it was before this president took office, but he has popularized it. He has normalized it. He has made it such that people in racist radio use it regularly and feel as though they are doing something noble by demeaning people of color and women and others as well, members of the LGBTQIA+ community. So he says, I think that in his mind, because he doesn't explicitly refer to race, he feels that it's easy to deny and that it's a racist label, The final comment, by repeating the phrase openly, the practice further popularizes the concept. By repeating it, he popularizes the racist comment. As another person who spoke, Harris, once put it, Trump's language seems to have become less a dog whistle and more a bullhorn. Less a dog whistle, more a bullhorn. So friends, here we are. We have a president of the United States of America who routinely uses racist commentary to refer to people of color. Routinely. Does it without a thought as to how it impacts the lives of the people he refers to, the persons that he's calling low IQ. doesn't really understand, maybe he does understand and doesn't care, but he should consider how it impacts the lives of people, how it signals to other people that the persons are less than, and how it can cause some people to respond to them in a very adverse way. But we have to say to the president, and I do so today, Mr. President, if you are using this kind of commentary, as you do, and you continue to do it routinely, someone has to tell you what you're doing. And here's what you're doing, Mr. President. You are bringing the country itself to a level of concern for others such that we are not seen as we were once seen, as the country with the Statue of Liberty, the notion that there's liberty and justice for all in our Pledge of Allegiance, the notion that we truly respect all people and that all persons are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You're causing people across the globe to see us differently. You're causing people across the globe to understand that the United States is undergoing something that they never thought they'd see, and quite frankly, I'm amazed myself. So, Mr. President, there's only one thing that I can say to you. When you do this, you are not only using a racist dog whistle, you are a racist. That kind of terminology, utilized the way you do it regularly, makes you the racist who has now given other racists the license to say what they say, openly and notoriously, normalizing racism. As we approach the 250th anniversary, Mr. President, you should be ashamed. But there's no shame in you. You've already demonstrated this with your behavior over the many years that you've had a public voice. You've already demonstrated there's no shame in you. So because you have no shame in you, Mr. President, I would call to your attention that while I am unbought, unbossed, unafraid, and unelected, censured but not silenced, Mr. President, there is still a countdown to impeachment. And Mr. President, it is just a matter of time. Your day of reckoning will come. Someone is going to stand in the well of this House of Representatives and is going to introduce articles of impeachment against you, and these articles are going to pass in this House of Representatives. Before that person does it, however, I believe that there will be someone who will introduce articles to lay the foundation for the actual articles that will later on pass the House of Representatives. There's always someone who lays the foundation for things. Foundation was laid at the Edmund Pettus Bridge for the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Foundation was laid to eliminate invidious discrimination in busing, on bus lines, when Rosa Parks took a seat and ignited a spark that started a civil rights movement. So someone's going to lay the foundation. And Mr. President, you should know you will be impeached again. You will be 3 times impeached. Mr. Speaker, with that said, I, Al Green, a proud, unbought, unbossed, unafraid, unelected, truly liberated Democrat, I yield back the balance of my time.